Today we're here to kind of give an update on the new Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021 that was passed in December. We've kind of waited so far because we're trying to get all the information, but there's still going to be guidance released by SBA, US Treasury, and the IRS. But the three topics we're going to talk about today are stimulus Q&As, the update on the economic injury grant, PPP loans, and we'll have a third video for the employee retention credit. What we'd like to start off with is the stimulus. There's been a lot of confusion and misinformation that's being passed around regarding the two stimulus payments and whether they're income, tax, how they'll be handled. So the purpose of this current video is to kind of get a general update for all the individual taxpayers regarding stimulus checks that they may or may not have received. Patrick, why don't you go and give a general information of the stimulus packages back in April and either December or January of this year.
Sure. Yeah, just as a reminder for everyone, the stimulus checks, there have been two separate payments. The first in April of last year was the up to $1,200 per person and $500 per child. And the second, this past January of 2021, was the up to $600 per person, including dependents. And you may have received that by direct deposit, you may have received by paper check or by debit card. That payment was based on your income. So had the maximum of the $1,200 and $600 phased out as your income reaches certain levels. And it was based on either your 2018 tax return or your 2019, depending on the timing of when you had filed for those stimulus payments. Technically, it is considered a credit on your 2020 tax return, which they are paying out in advance. So that is how it will be reflected this year on your tax return. First question that we've gotten quite a lot is, are the stimulus checks income that you have to pay tax on?
Right, and the answer to that is basically no. The stimulus checks will not be considered income when you file your 2020 tax returns. So even though you receive the money, you will not report as income for the year 2020. The second question, Patrick, is that people have is, I didn't receive one or both of those of the checks. How do I get it?
Sure. Yes. And you may have received the first one and not gotten the second one. That's happened quite a bit. And if you don't receive one or either of them, you'll claim it on your tax return. As mentioned, this is an advance payment of a credit. So it is a credit that's going to show up on your tax returns. If you didn't get it before and you're eligible to get it, and then when you file your tax return, it will reduce your tax paid there, or you will get it as a refund there if all your tax has been covered. Third question is for those people who got partial payments. May not have gotten the full $1,200, but got $700, $600, what have you, just a reduced payment. What happens for those people who didn't get the full amount?
I think that kind of goes back to the question you had is, what will end up happening is your 2020 tax return will basically true you up. So whatever taxes, whatever the recovery rebate you were supposed to get or how it's calculated based on your 2021, if you were short or did not get it, they will make it up when you file the tax return. So it'll either increase your refund or it'll decrease the amount of money you owe based on the calculation that you do on the 2020 tax returns. This is a question that I think people are scared of or not sure of, but if I received the stimulus check and my income went up, or I wasn't supposed to receive it, will I have to pay it back, Patrick?
And the answer to that is no. They've been very clear. If they gave you the stimulus, it's yours whether or not on your 2020 tax return you were eligible for it. So if they gave you the full amount and you should have only got a partial or shouldn't have even got any based on your income, doesn't matter. You will not have to pay it back. That is full stop. They've said that black and white, no possibility of repaying it. The one wrinkle that we've had with that in terms of questions is, what if you received some payment for someone who's no longer in your household? For example, the $500 per child back in April. What if on your 2018 tax return, you had a dependent who was a college student? By 2020, they're on their own. So you got $500. What about that? Do you have to pay that back?
And I think this is why we've waited so long to release some of the videos, is currently at this time, the IRS hasn't taken a position and we don't know the answer to that. The only thing we do know is for somebody who passed away, that payment that was sent in error will probably need to get paid back, or it should have been actually paid back, or a voided check should have been sent back. But if that hadn't happened, expect that you're going to need to pay that back on your tax return. But as for anyone else, we're not sure, and we're waiting on guidance from the IRS or the US Treasury. The last question that we have is, what do I need to do with my stimulus for my taxes? How or what do I need to do with it?
Sure. And that's coming into when we're preparing the 2020. What do we need as your accountants to get your return done correctly? We need to know what you got or didn't get. There is a lookup tool on the IRS website if you're not sure or can't remember exactly what you got, where you can look up and it will tell you exactly how much they paid you for each of the stimulus runs. But we need to know that amount, whatever amount you received in full, so that we can calculate that credit and determine, do you get the credit on the return or do you not, because you already got the money. So that's the big thing. It's simple, but it's going to be crucial this year that we have that information. So when you're pulling your information together, make sure that you get that. It's going to be very important.
Right. And I think one of the things that Patrick said, which is for our clients, we're going to go online and print that report out. But what we don't have is the amount you received. So the IRS will tell you when or how they gave you the money, but they won't tell you the amount. So make sure that when you're going in to prepare your tax returns, you have that information available so that we can do the calculations, if you did not receive enough, then we can make sure you get the rest of it. Or if you didn't receive one at all, you can take the credit potentially on the tax return. Patrick, anything else to kind of conclude out or clear up anything that we may have?
I think that's covered most of the main questions we got. Hopefully it's provided a bit of clarity on the situation. We are continuing to watch, as you may have noticed, the new legislation coming out. They're talking about doing another run of checks up to $1,400 now. And we don't know if it's going to follow the exact same rules at this point, particularly as we're getting deeper into tax season. Are they going to call this a 2020 tax credit? Are they going to call it 2021? Are they going to do something completely different? We don't know till they actually put the pen to paper and release that. But we are keeping a close watch on that. And as soon as we know something definitive, we will be sending out another one of these to let you know, I'm sure.
Yes, I think for the most part, this administration or the last year and a half has been very reactive after they've passed something. So we'll keep you up to date. But that's pretty much it for the stimulus. And keep an eye out for the other two videos that we're doing regarding the earning of the emergency economic injury and the PPP, and then also the employee retention tax credit. But that's it for this video, and we hope you guys enjoyed it.